just love doing these fantasy football videos. Good times. Well, time to rank some wide receivers, and remember, as always, follow me on Twitter at FantasySports7. So number 1 of the wide receivers is Calvin Johnson, and he's in a class of his own. He's the only wide receiver you should take in the first round. I mean, he's probably going to be the 8th overall pick, maybe 7th, but you should not take any other wide receivers in the first round. To number 2, these guys are all superstars, and they should all be going in the second round, and these guys will be your number 1 wide receivers. I mean, Demaryius Thomas, AJ Green, Dez Bryant, Brandon Marshall, they all have very similar numbers in the same group. They're all amazing. I would love to have any of them. To number 3, these guys will go, some of them will go in the second round, but some will go in the third, and these are some good wide receivers. Number 6, Antonio Brown. He had almost 1,500 yards and 110 catches last year. That's crazy. He's better than people think. Number 7, Julio Jones. He was on pace for 1,800 yards before he got injured. I'm just disappointed he got injured. He was having a great year, and I expect nothing less than that. Number 8, Randall Cobb. He's Aaron Rodgers' favorite slot receiver, and he got hurt last year, but he came back, did very well, so I think he's going to have a good season. Number 9, Alshon Jeffrey. He had a breakout season last year, and he had some huge games, but I just don't... He'll have a good year, just not as good as last year, but I'd still draft him. He's a good wide receiver. And number 10, Jordy Nelson. He's very consistent, 10 touchdowns, 1,200 yards. He's a good wide receiver, but I'd rather have Randall Cobb in Green Bay, but Jordy Nelson's a good pick too. To number 4, the wide receivers. These guys are a little bit more inconsistent than the other, than tiers 1 through 3, but these guys will be 4th rounders, maybe a little bit 3rd, but these guys will also be good wide receivers. I would look towards some of these guys being your 2nd wide receiver and not your 1st. Number 11, Andre Johnson. He's very consistent, kind of old, but consistent. Number 12, Vincent Jackson. He's been putting up some great numbers these last 2 years, and he's going to have a good year again. 1,300 yards, 8 to 10 touchdowns. I like him a lot. Larry Fitzgerald, you know what you're going to get. Number 14, Pierre Garçon. He had a lot of catches last year for a lot of yards, and he's RG3's favorite target. I know they have Deshaun Jackson and all, but I like Pierre Garçon too. Number 15, Wes Welker. I have him higher than most experts, but still, you know what he's going to get. A lot of touchdowns, a good amount of yards, and a ton of catches. And now that Eric Decker's gone, Wes Welker, I think, will see more touches and see more balls now his way, because Peyton Manning will look to him, and him and Demaryius Thomas on opposite sides, that's nasty. To number 5, these are some great wide receivers that you should look for being your number 2 wide receivers on your fantasy team. And if you get lucky, maybe a flex. But number 16, Keenan Allen. He had a great rookie year last year, so I think he's going to put up some good numbers. Him and Philip Rivers have a great connection. Number 17, Michael Crabtree. He was injured, missed most of the year, but in the playoffs, he had some great games, and I expect that to continue into the regular season. Number 18, I should say, Crabtree 17. Victor Cruz at 18. He was inconsistent last year, but he should rebound. 19, this is the wild card, but his upside's huge. Cordero Patterson of the Minnesota Vikings. He does everything. He has return yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns. He'll probably get 8 to 10 touchdowns total. Maybe 200 rush yards, 900 receiving yards, and 1,000 return yards. I don't know. He just gives you everything across the board. And again, if your league has return yards as a stat, you need this guy. My league does, and I will get him very high just because of that upside. Number 20, Percy Harvin, very similar to Patterson, does everything, and I think he's going to have a good year with Russell Wilson in the Seahawks this year. But be careful, he's injury prone. To number 6, these guys are flex wide receivers, or number 3. Number 21 is Deshaun Jackson. He had a fantastic year for the Eagles last year, and I think he's going to have a good year, but not as good as last year. He got all the targets in Philadelphia, and Pierre Garçon's number 1 receiver in Washington. So, for now, he's kind of lower than that, but he still have a good year. T.Y. Hilton broke out. Last year, he had a good season. He's great on deep balls, and I like him a lot. Number 23, Roddy White. Now, he had a bad year last year, to say the least. That's his first bad year in a while. And this guy, he's usually consistent and solid as a rock, but this is his first bad year, so I think he'll rebound. And he was kind of injury prone, and Julio Jones is hurt, so they were double covering him. So I definitely think Roddy White will have a good year, but he's getting older, so don't overdraft him, just cover his name. Number 24, Emmanuel Sanders. I love this guy for next year. Last year, he had 800 yards, 6 touchdowns with Big Ben in the Steelers. Now he's in Denver, and he's taking over for Eric Decker. He's the same kind of receiver as Decker, and he's sliding right into the starting lineup. So he's going to have his projections about 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, and that's what it's going to be. He's going to put up some good numbers, and people don't know who he is. So he was slide down in drafts. You need to scoop him up. He's my number 1 sleeper this year. He's going to put up great numbers, and you have to get him on your team. Number 2, number 7 are flex or bench wide receivers, but I love this tier. I'm definitely going to get 1 or 2 guys in this group because this is a great group. Number 25, Julian Edelman had a great year last year. 26, Torrey Smith has a great deep ball with Joe Flacco. He's great on those deep balls, and he's going to get a lot of yards. Not a lot of catches, though, so if it's PPR, I'd stay away from him, but if not, he's a good pick. Number 27, Kendall Wright, projected 90 catches and 1,000 yards. That's a good year. Number 28, Michael Floyd. He had a good year, breakout year last year with Carson Palmer. He had over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns, and he should do about the same thing this year. He'd be a great bench wide receiver. Number 29, Jeremy Maclin. He's a very successful wide receiver, but was injured for the entire year last year. He's a bit of a risk, but I think he will pay off. Deshaun Jackson's gone in Philly. Macklin's going to get most of the touches. And to number 8, these guys are definitely bench guys, and some of these guys had bad years last year and need to rebound, but like number 30, Mike Wallace, he's all the upside in the world, but I don't know. He's just inconsistent. He's projected about 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, and that'd be great on the bench, but don't overdraft him just because he's Mike Wallace. Look at the stats, and I don't think he's going to have a great year because Ryan Tannehill is not a great quarterback, but, you know, he'll have a decent year, though. Number 31, Marquise Colston. He's inconsistent, but ends up putting up decent numbers. I would shy away from him, but he could be a good pick. Number 32, Eric Decker, had a fantastic year in Denver, but now he's with Mike Vick and Geno Smith, and they're going to double cover him, so he's a great talent, but you have to be careful with him. Number 33, Golden Tate. Megatron, Golden Tate. He's on the opposite side of the best wide receiver in the world, so he's going to get a lot of touches because he's one-on-one, single coverage. The Lions like to throw the ball at Stafford. He's going to have a big year. And number 34, Reggie Wayne. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. 2 years ago, he was fantastic, amazing. And then last year he was injured. He's going to rebound. Andrew Luck's going to throw the ball a lot. And Reggie Wayne's his favorite target. I like him a lot. And he's older, but don't shy away. He's going to have a great year. Thanks for watching, and look forward to my other fantasy football videos upcoming soon.